Have you been wanting to learn about Reiki and do Reiki, and maybe like there's this pull towards it that you can't explain? If so, stick around. This video is for you. I'm not going to be doing Reiki at the end, so if you're here for the Reiki, go grab another video of mine. This is just talk. This is just for people that are interested in possibly doing Reiki and who have felt the call. I call it the Reiki call. And we're going to dive into that. And right before we do, I want to let you know, stick around to the end. I'm going to be doing a free event and where you will get all the information you want about Reiki. I'm going to talk more about it at the end of this video. Right now, I really need to talk about the Reiki call because I thought I was the only person to experience it. But I've had people that have joined my class that have, they'll call, there was one person in particular, she was like, I don't know why, but I just keep feeling like I need to do Reiki. Like I haven't even tried it. And I'm like, girl, that was my experience too. So she came in and she got attuned to Reiki and now she has it in her hands. When I was back on my healing journey going through the divorce, I was just like probably you have at some point in your life. I was desperate to heal. I was going through it and I was in therapy. Therapy wasn't enough. I was watching YouTube videos on the situation I was going through and it was helping, but it wasn't enough. And then I started working with crystals and I was like, oh, these are kind of cool. So I started like tipping into the energetic field. I learned from crystals somewhere along the line that there were things called chakras inside our body, energy centers and things like that. And I'm like, wow, this is interesting. So then I bought the big book of chakra healing, or the big book of chakras from Llewellyn. I had that sitting on my counter. I hadn't opened it yet because it's a very intimidating book. It's very big. I had that sitting on my counter, and there was a morning that I was sitting on my porch and just kind of going through my phone, and of course, I don't. Google was probably listening to me talk about chakras. Who knows? But an article, a blog post came through, and this woman was talking about chakras and how she was a chakra healer, and I was floored. I was like, wait, people can heal chakras, and I instantly did not even think about going to her to get my chakras healed. I was instantly like, ooh, I want to do that because I was touching into my magical side. I was watching the tarot and things like that. I wasn't doing it yet. The most energy that I had dipped into was crystals at this point. But man, when I saw chakra healer, I lit up. And that's I want for anybody who's on their healing journey, transformation journey, and they're like, I don't know. I don't know which way to go. Pay attention. Pay attention to those like, whoa, this is like so exciting moments, because that is your guidance. That is your inner guidance taking you where you are supposed to go. And so I had that when I saw that somebody was able to heal chakras. I was like, ooh, I want to do that. And I looked more into it and learned about Reiki online, like this Reiki healing energy that you don't even touch people and you just heal them. And I'm like, that's fascinating. That is so fascinating. And I went into the apartment because it was mid-transition. So me and my son were living in an apartment. I went in there. I was like, hey. And he's like, what? And I said, I read the most exciting thing. And he's like, what's that? And I told him about the Reiki healer and how you heal people and you don't touch them. And my son is so supportive. I love him. He just kind of looked at me and like, he knew at that time, and he knows I still am finding my own path. Well, I'm not really finding it anymore now. I'm just doing it. Like, I'm like, I see that. I want it. I do it. But back then I was unsure. And so super supportive. He just kind of, gave me the, and I'm like, oh, no. I'm not going to do it. That's weird. That is so weird. That would be so embarrassing. Like that. No, I could never do that. And so every once in a while, I would continue to like hear about Reiki, or it would just cross my path every once in a while. And every single time it crossed my path, I was like, this is so cool. I really want to do this. But then my I was still early in my self-love and self-empowerment journey. So I really needed to fit in. And so we'll say my ego was like, oh, girl, don't do that. Don't do that. That's weird. So then I tossed it around for a little bit, right? And as I got closer and closer to my go point. And the funny thing is I almost went twice because the teacher that I was interested in, I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. But then her class would be full. And then I'd have to wait 3 months to get into her next class. And I was like, oh. And I'm like, I'm not waiting 3 months. And so then I wouldn't do it. And so as I kept seeing it off and on, I was like, it's not, it can't be real. It can't be real. It's probably just the fact that, the person that is receiving the Reiki feels comforted. They just feel comforted. And that's probably all it is. And I still had the pull to do it. And without trying it, I just dumped my money into this teacher. I'm like, you know what? Take my money. I'm doing this. And even all the way to this event, I'm like, it's probably not real. I'm not expecting anything. I'm just going to learn the technique that is comforting for people so that I can help them. Because it's got to help them some way. It's out there. So it's probably like a mind thing, and I'll just learn that. No big deal. But I had that Reiki pull. It was hard, and I feel like everybody, in my personal opinion, everybody should be attuned to Reiki so that you can heal yourself whenever you need to. That's my personal opinion. But my other personal opinion is also that I feel certain people are pulled to it either because Reiki is pulling them because, like, hey, I want you on my team. I would like you to use the energy to heal people. So either Reiki is pulling you to it, or it is your higher self, because that is what you came here to do. That's what's going to fulfill you most. And so with that line of thinking, to live my life to the fullest, I was supposed to find Reiki and do Reiki. It is extremely fulfilling. It's magical. I love magic stuff. And it's healing and transformative to other people. And I love helping people transform. So it is me. And it called me. Like, I could not deny it. Even if I wanted to, I could not deny it. I had to go. And so I finally went, and I'm listening to her do her talking part. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. Like, I'm not sure I'm going to believe any of this, but I will listen. And I paid money, so I guess I'll listen. And then I sat down and got my attunement. And an attunement is the most powerful form of Reiki that you can get. And I wasn't expecting anything. And I just want to forefront with everybody's attunement experience is going to be different, just like everybody receiving Reiki as a healing modality. Everybody that receives it a little differently from each other. So my experience that I'm going to talk about now, because it was so fascinating, might not be what you experience. You might not feel anything at all. So when you get your attunement, you are brought into a meditative state, though you don't have to be in a meditative state to receive an attunement, but it's smoother. So she brought us into a meditative state, and I'm sitting there with my hands in my lap waiting for the attunement. And she comes up and she taps my shoulders, lets me know she's there, and I feel her working above my head. And all of a sudden, my head, I could feel it filling up with something. I know. This is where people are like, oh, no, I'm out. Because it's not possible. Many people can feel Reiki. Not everybody, but many people can. Yeah, so I felt, if you could imagine my head being empty, like I felt like it was a giant chalice. Is that what they're called? Like the giant Dracula wine cups is what I pictured my head turning into. That's not what it was, but it was all emptied out, and I felt it just filling and filling and filling and filling with energy, which felt like liquid. Like it just felt heavy to the point where my head was almost hard for me to hold my head up straight. And that was the moment that I was like, holy shit, this is real. after the attunement, there was a group of probably 8 or 10 of us. We all sat around and she's like, so who wants to talk about their experience? I could not talk about my experience for 2 reasons. One, because I was not as vocal as I am now. I was more like introverted, more quiet, more shy. And I was like, hell no, I'm not going to talk about what just happened. Are you crazy? But then 2 of the other students had the exact same experience, which made me feel better. But I was in shock. And I've had a couple clients that are like, what the hell just happened? What was that? I was in that. And I was just in shock for probably like 15 minutes. Like, what was that? It was so amazing. So I followed the Reiki call and I am so glad I did. And like my path has been nothing but beautiful. Like every step of the way. I was attuned back in 2019, and every step further that I go, I get closer to Reiki. I get closer to myself. I get closer to the spiritual world around me. It is beautiful. So I encourage you, if you are feeling the call, when you are ready, do it. And find your teacher. I would love to have you in my class. I have one coming up. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But it is important that you resonate with your teacher. I went to 2 different ones. 2? Yeah, 2 different ones before I went up to mine. And I feel like you're going to be guided to the teacher that you are supposed to be with. But don't ignore the call. Don't ignore it. It's so worth it. So let's talk about the event that I'm going to be doing. It is exciting. This is the only one I'm going to be doing. And this is the only opportunity that you are going to have to jump into a class with me in 2024. So if you don't jump on this and you're interested in me as a teacher, and you don't jump, that's fine. But I'm not going to be holding another training until sometime in 2025. And this event is going to transition into your opportunity to sign up with me to receive your attunements and or certification for your Reiki journey. I really encourage you to come to the 8 days. But if you are only interested in getting that attunement and getting certified, in doing Reiki rather than healing yourself, that's cool. Just come to the 18th and the 19th, the Saturday and the Sunday events. But you need to sign up before. And you need to sign up soon so you don't lose your spot. And again, even if you are like, I don't think I want her, that's cool. Just come to the 8 days so you can learn a little bit more. Doesn't hurt to learn. I look forward to seeing you there.